Hey, thanks for joining us this evening. We're back for another round with our good mate Squirty here. You might remember him from some interviews we've done recently about his band years. So basically what we're doing this time is we've got a new chapter that we're introducing, which we'll introduce as we go. But thanks for joining us so far. Hope you got into the last few episodes, and this is a whole new round. Squirty, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Crispy, and thank you, Heavy Mac.
Always a pleasure, my friend. So you have to excuse our red face and features this evening too. Went on a bit of a ride today. He remembered to wear sunscreen. I didn't, hence the redness. So, Squirty.
We'll edit it out.
So, as we mentioned, you've recently released a 4-part interview series, an EP of music called My Band Years, which basically outlines your musical journey through 4 bands. You've got Mr. Stinky, Ceremony, Bullbolt Method, and Lucid Louis. So, how's the reception been to that so far?
Look, absolutely overwhelming. Yeah, I mean, from a little idea, it's just it's starting to snowball. I'm starting to get a little bit of traction with it, which is pretty good. Never expected it. I just wanted everyone to be able to hear what I've done throughout my musical journey, and it looks like people are listening.
And you've been a little bit modest, mate. You're telling me some figures today with Spotify and people getting into it, so tell us about that. That'd be so modest.
Yeah, so, I mean, when you get your, people that are involved with Spotify and stuff like that, I get monthly stats on all my uploads, releases and stuff. To see, a increase of 470% of streaming in 1 month, that's pretty good as far as I'm concerned. I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. I'm gaining new listeners and followers, and yeah, I can't be more thankful and more happy.
Anyway, what we're looking at, the cat's about to attack the camera. So anyway, for those who missed the first interview, that's not the reason you did it. Of course, you weren't after more followers, you weren't after recognition, you weren't after anything. But what was the reason behind what you were doing, and what did you hope to achieve?
Well, the reason behind it was for me.
Uh-huh.
As I said in the first interview, I wanted to go to Nepal and trek around Nepal for 2 weeks. It was a boost, I wanted to go to Nepal for that boost. I mean, I wasn't going to Nepal to search for anything in particular. I just wanted to go there. Something was drawing me to Nepal, so okay, well, let's just fucking go, Yeah, so I was pretty bummed out when I couldn't do that. So then I come up with this idea, and once again the idea just snowballed, and the more I thought about it, the more it just grew and grew, and I just thought it was such a great idea. But personally, I didn't want to gain recognition or anything like that. I just wanted to put out there everything that I had done with people in the past, because in all honesty, I think it deserves to be heard, and so I put it out there, and it's good for my kids and my family and everyone that was involved. It's good for their kids and their families, they can now go somewhere and actually listen to the stuff that we'd written and recorded many moons ago that had been forgotten and pushed aside.
And of course, all these, they're basically like stepping stones of a journey. Those 4 bands, you've been in more, of course, but those 4 bands are the major ones that have influenced your life and your career and your musical output to date.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've been in a lot of original bands, a lot more than 4 over the past 25 years. And actually, a band that I will mention, good friends of mine, and a really fun band to be in at that point in time, was Speed Racer. They've just released a new album. Go to Spotify, check them out. They're fucking great. Good band. Awesome. And I love my time with Speed Racer.
You have to draw the line somewhere, though, don't you? You can't outline every band you've been in, otherwise you'd be here all
Well,
night.
that's right. But these guys, they're like me. They've been through the trenches. They've had line-up changes and all sorts of stuff. But Jason and Andrew, they've stuck it through, and that they just keep soldiering on. They just keep going. So, And I have so much respect for that, because that's pretty much what I've done, and pretty much what anyone who continues to write original music in bands that, you know, climb the ladder and fail, climb the ladder, fail, climb the ladder, fail. And you keep finding new bands, you keep doing it. That's what these guys do. But Speed Racer, check them out, they're awesome band.
Very good. And of course, like, that was just more or less the entree to the main course that we got coming up. So that's outlined probably. We won't say successes, because they weren't all overwhelming successes, but that's the more professional side of your life. And then after that, you started writing and recording your own solo material, which is what we're going to start focus on now. So we started around 2012. You started up until now. So what you're doing is you're releasing a whole series, basically based around a driver's license, of your recordings from now until back then, unedited, all raw, all naked, mistakes and warts and all. Elaborate on that a bit for us. So how are you structuring?
Okay, so around the 2012 mark was when I was shown by a very good friend of mine how easy it is to plug a guitar into a computer and record something. I'm just like, whoa, you know, so you don't have to go into this big fucking studio and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to do that. You can do it at home. He's like, yeah, man, it's just like this, pretty easy. Boom, that was me. So I started writing and recording. So, the very early stuff, I'm just learning here. I didn't have any formal training of, no one's actually showing me, you plug this into this and it comes out of there and into there, and then you push that fader up and then that does that, and you push this button and it does this. No one ever showed me that. It was just all self-taught, trial and error. YouTube's fantastic. For every 10 bad videos that you watch, there's always one good one that, just like any good tradesman, finds a tool that he puts in his tool bag that he can use, and it's his go-to, and works for him. So when you're talking about recording, everyone's different. Everyone records different. Everyone's got their own methods and their own workflow, and what works for them, is the best. But it's not like that. You just have to find out where you're comfy, where your strengths are. Using all the plugins and stuff like that. They all basically do the same thing. But you find which ones work for you, and then off you go and you do your thing the way you want to do it, because it's easy for you, and along the way, you pick up little tricks and bits and stuff like that, and I'm still doing it. I mean, even the professionals that have been doing it for 30, 40 years, every interview you see them in, they'll tell you, as soon as I stop learning, it's time for me to give it up.
Basic life lessons.
It's just one of these things where you're just constantly learning, and everything's constantly evolving. But yeah, around 2012, I started writing my own stuff, and it's not great. There's a lot of mistakes there, and the first EP is getting back to the based on how the licenses work. I've called it L-Plates because learning, and clearly you can hear that I am learning. And right from the very first song, Time, that first strum on the acoustic guitar, it's whoa. That's not how you record an acoustic guitar.
That's nicer than I would have put it.
And everything about it, I shouldn't say everything about it's wrong, it's just everything about it isn't what songs that are polished and released professionally. It's the complete opposite. It's me learning how to record and learning my shit. And that particular song, because I can't play guitar, like I'm a bass player, right? I know, don't judge me, but I'm a bass player.
Better than most.
I'm not a drummer, I'm not a guitarist, I'm not a keyboard player, I'm not a singer, but I do it all. I done it, I fucking, yeah, why not? So for those who have dabbled in the recording realm of things, you all know about copy and paste, right? So because my strumming, the chords, you know, I couldn't change my fingers quick enough to get to the chord to make it, you know, sound confident and complete and all the rest of it. I'd hit the record button, I'd strum that chord, and then I'd hit stop, and then I'd put my fingers onto the next button, hit record, strum, stop, and then pretty it all up and join it all together so it sounds like there's two chords being played. I shouldn't be fucking saying this, but that's what I did, because, you know, playing guitar, like I'm a fucking bass player, you do that shit, you don't do this, you know, like, I don't know how you do it, you guitarists are weirdos. But but that's how I done it back then, because I was able to do it, and I was shown that, yeah, copy and paste, yeah, start, stop, and as long as you're, you know, we've got a click track going, and you know, you fucking following all the lines, you can trim it all up and move it around and do whatever you want. So yeah, so these first songs, they're not polished. They're complete songs. They're full songs.
But they're as you recorded them 9 years ago. They're exactly like that. You haven't done anything to them since.
The only thing I've done to them in the mastering stage is you know, mastering. I've EQ'd it and I've compressed it and I've leveled it so there's no volume spikes between the songs, and just to make it sound like it was all recorded in the same place.
Yeah.
So that's all I've done. So there's guitars out of tune, vocals out of tune, just horrible things happening in there, but it is listenable. It's, you know, you can get through it.
Oh.
And if someone wants to record it properly later on, yeah, feel free. You know, 'cause I think they're good songs, you know, and someone might be able to do them justice.
Okay, so this, they're actually being released as EPs, aren't they? So you've got the L-Plates, you've got the red peas are the next one. What's after that?
Green peas, and then opens.
Right, so there's 4 in the series all up.
4, yeah.
And have you got a release schedule for these?
Yes, I have. So L-Plates will be released 28th of February. Red plates will be released, February, March, April, say around May.
Roughly 3 months.
Yeah, so 10 to 12 weeks in between. So I think the last one's scheduled for a release November.
Okay. Where can people get hold of these? Like, are they being sold physically or are they digital?
Nah, just all the streamers.
All the streamers?
Yeah.
And then get that through your Spotify account, Facebook account?
They'll be on Spotify. So just search Squirty and they'll be there.
Alright, cool. Well, I'm going to catch you off guard with a question. Where does the name Squirty come from?
Look, many have asked, many have failed.
I thought I might have got through the trick question there.
No, it may be revealed one day.
I'll have to apply you with a bit more vodka before that one comes around. Okay, so basically the stuff you're releasing now on L-Plates, like you say, it's raw, it's unedited, it's very amateur, like, for want of a better word.
Absolutely.
Why do it? Like, you're taking a big risk by putting this out there and having someone go, this guy's fucked, he doesn't know what he's doing. But what's your end game out of this? Like, what are you hoping to achieve out of doing this?
Okay, so in music in general, right, when you're writing your own original music and you're up on stage and you're playing in front of, 4 people, it could be 400, could be 4,000, depending on what status you are. You only just got to reach out to that one person. You've only got to see one person tapping their toe or bobbing their head or going, boom, job done. Mm-hmm. You don't have to keep everyone happy. You just got to find one.
Make that
just
connection.
one, And then hopefully the next gig or, a few gigs later, you might get 2 or 3 people. But the end game for me is anyone, especially young bands, because let's face it, bedroom recording and bedroom studios, they're a dime a dozen. Everyone's doing it these days. So what I'm trying to achieve with this ultimately is from L-Plates to opens, I'm hoping that everyone can stay with me during this journey, to listen to me progress, not only with my songwriting, but with my recording as well. So between L-Plates and the opens, there should be a distinct difference in both, you know. So what I'm trying to reach out to young people or anyone who's starting out and doing this, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to, write a song and then record it, and then 6 months later you listen to it and you just go, oh God, that's crap, you know. But it's the best you could do 6 months ago, when you were learning. You know, everyone starts somewhere, you know. So if I can reach out to one person, when they hear all this and they can hear the differences, and hopefully they can hear the mistakes that I talk about and hear how I've corrected them in the future. Hopefully that might entice these people to continue to keep going and just keep, you learn by mistakes. If you don't make a mistake, you'll never fucking learn.
Don't say this the wrong way, mate. But I know you as a mate outside of all this sort of stuff, and you're more emotional than most men I know. Like you could say you're more in touch with your feminine side than most men, just for the fact that you do feel and you have got a big heart. Are you ready for any criticism? Like someone gets on there and goes, "This is fucking shit. Why did you bother?" Like, are you ready for that? Because
absolutely,
it could happen.
It's going
people are assholes these days. They're not going to look at the bigger picture.
There are people that are going to, give me the thumbs down, but that's okay. But for the last, 25 years or so that I've been playing, every single time you walk onto that stage, you're being judged. You're being critiqued. Okay. So I'm used to it. Yeah. And to tell you the truth, if you can't take bad criticism, you probably shouldn't be
in the arts
doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's right.
All criticism is good criticism, and you either take it on board or you don't. And these days people are very opinionated, and you have to get through some of those opinions that may not sit well with you, but every now and then someone will come up with an opinion that you go, oh, you know what, yeah, you're right, yeah, sweet, thanks for that, I'll take that on board.
So are you the sort of person that'll read through the comments and take them on board, or would you rather not read them and not know what people are thinking?
Oh no, I'll read them. If someone's just being derogative and being a bit silly about things because they're bored and they've got nothing better to do, well, kudos to them. Like I'll read it, but I won't bite back and respond and start a text war, and I just don't do that shit. If you ignore them long enough, eventually they go away.
Hopefully.
But I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the critique, and you know what? I just hope that someone.
I'm sitting here clenching my fists as if I'm going to back you up.
You better. But it is to be expected. I mean, the studio I built was horrible. It was a horrible room. Like looking back now, it was probably one of the worst rooms I've ever been in. Honestly, how I got any recordings out of that room at all is beyond me. But you know what? I built that thing with my own two hands. I put every tube of silicon in, every screw, every batten, every fucking thing. So I loved that room. I loved it. That was my sanctuary. From doing the FIFO work, I'd be away for 4 weeks and I'd come back for a week, and I just lived in that fucking room. We were talking earlier, and half of these songs I can't even remember recording. I'd get that fucking pissed, and because there was no windows, no clocks or anything, and
just like
you'd
a void.
stagger out and it'd be dark, and you go, oh god, that time went quick, and it'd be like 4 a.m. or something, fucking blind. So I'd crash out for a few hours, and I'd wake up and I'd go, what did I do last night? So I'd have to go back in there and load the last project and listen to it, and I'm like, fuck, how did I play that? How did I do that? So I'd isolate that track and trying to figure it out. How the fuck did I... And you can hear it. You can hear that I'm so drunk in some of these recordings, eh? It's not funny.
So let's dispel a myth here. Do you play better drunk or sober?
Well, I think I play my stuff better drunk.
Larry, if you're watching, he plays better drunk.
No, I said I play my stuff better drunk.
Okay, so now we're up to date on where you've been and what you're doing. We know the whole process behind the old L-Plates, red peas, the whole driver's license bullshit thing that I haven't got yet, so I don't know how it goes. So thanks for joining us so far, or thanks for being this informative so far with us. Next week we're going to break it down. We're going to have the first part of the L-Plates. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a long interview because there's a lot to get through, so we'll probably split that into a couple of series. And then on the 28th of February, the EP drops. Yes. So we're ready to go by then. So thank you very much for the first installment.
Thank you, mate.
All you guys out there that have been listening to this, that's the wrap up. The real stuff starts next week. Join us then.
Thanks, guys.